Joining us now for some reaction is National Vice President of the Fraternal Order of Police, Joe Gamaldi. Joe, thank you so much for being with us. I want to start by just sharing some stats with you. We're going to look at the top 5 cities that have seen a rise in crime. You've seen just a massive increase in Portland, Los Angeles County, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Philadelphia. I mean, look at Portland, 800% year-to-date change. Compared to Philadelphia at the bottom of that top 5 list is still a 38% change year to date. That's a huge number. And now we're also hearing about police officers in various cities quitting in the last year. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's a massive number. And what we're seeing is these cities that are deciding to defund the police, they're seeing huge spikes in homicides. As you said, Philadelphia, 38%. Washington, D.C., 35%. Portland, 800%. Minneapolis, 56%. And in Seattle, they're seeing the highest murder rate that they've seen in over 30 years. And we need to, as a society, stop pretending like defunding the police is a rational policy decision policy position to have. We've seen murder rates over 20,000 murders last year. It's the highest we've seen in a generation, and yet we continue to hear defund the police, and we're the very people that are responsible for responding, mitigating, and then investigating those homicides. I mean, it is complete insanity to keep talking about defunding the police, but that's where we are nowadays in this country, where apparently 2 + 2 = 5.
All right, well, on the other hand of that, what can be done to recruit and retain officers? I want to play you from some sound from the Kansas City mayor. Take a listen.
I do not think that the Fraternal Order of Police speaks for Kansas City any more than some of the other activist groups on the left speak for Kansas City. When you are a mayor, you have to actually make balanced decisions.
So they want to cut the police budget there. What say you?
Yeah, once again, completely ridiculous. Homicides are up 40% in Kansas City over the last 2 years. And what this mayor is actually trying to do, it's going to cut hundreds of police positions from Kansas City. And if this mayor had even bothered to take a poll of his area, he'd know that defunding the police is a complete loser because, in fact, our communities want more police officers there. They don't want less. But speaking to the recruitment and retention issues that we have, the morale has never been worse in policing than it is right now. And in addition, we have had 119 police officers shot in this country this year, which is actually a 20% increase over 2020, which was a historic year. So when we talk about recruitment and retention, forget it. 75% increase in the NYPD. Seattle's seen 20% of their force walk off. And as far as recruitment, the New Jersey State Police just said they saw 90% reductions in application, and a recent study in Colorado just showed that 70% of agencies said the recruitment is tanking. Yeah. It's a complete disaster. We're in the middle of a perfect storm, and we're not going to find anybody to take these jobs anymore.
Well, there's another section of the Democratic Party working with the Republican Party, not the folks calling to defund police. They don't tend to support the police reform bill that Congress is looking at right now, but there's this issue over qualified immunity with just 30 seconds left. Is that going to deter people from wanting to become a police officer if qualified immunity goes away?
Well, I think if qualified immunity goes away, it would certainly impact officers wanting to take this job. But I will tell you this, the National Fraternal Order of Police stands ready to have a fact-based discussion with anybody on either side of the aisle that wants to have it. And I believe that there's reasonable compromises that can be made to make sure that we all move forward on a path where we want to reduce officer-involved shootings in this country. It's the goal that everybody wants to reach. But if we're going to sit down and talk about it, we have to talk about the actions of the other individual on that scene with that officer. That has to be a part of the conversation because they ultimately determine how much force an officer may or may not use. And if we don't address that, we're going to be caught in this perpetual doom cycle we find ourselves in.
Joe Gamaldi, thank you so much for being with us.